on there? No. What's up, everybody? I hope all is well. This is my first time doing a live, so I said I was going to do this. Yo, I hope all is well. Let me get that Texans logo up. Yes, sir. You see us? You see us. We here. We here. We here. We here. Yo, so first and foremost, man, hey, if you're new to the channel, always like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to my safe space. This is us, man. We're going to go ahead and dive into it. We got 32 picks, 32 minutes. Where do I start? How do I finish? Where do I begin? I'm just excited that the draft took place today. I've been waiting on this all year long, obviously, like most fans. So we're very excited. Small introduction here, man. Like I said, round one is all we're talking about. And we'll kind of move from there. We'll talk about steals, interesting trades, why this, why that, the whole thing that happened in Atlanta. We're just going to dive into all of that. So first things first, obviously, pick number one, Chicago, Caleb Williams, as needed, much. They needed a quarterback. They got rid of course, Justin Fields. Perfect. I don't understand. Really, there was no much, and really, there was really not that much of a need to really, I guess, second guess this decision that they had. So I'm okay with that, right? I'm perfectly fine with them snagging a QB. I know there was a lot of debate going in tonight. Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is arguably the best player in this draft. It is what it is. It's no need for you to go back and forth on that. So I will honestly say that is a blessing right there for them. What is this? That is a blessing right there for them. So to go ahead and just grab him. So I don't understand the whole back and forth. I think he's going to be a perfect fit, especially in the offense that's built around him. Keenan Allen, uh, DJ Moore, Clement, Everett. Then on top of that, especially what they did at pick 9. So, diving in with that. So obviously we'll move on to pick 2. Jaden Daniels going to the Commanders. You got Terry. You got Dotson over there. I really like that one too as well. That was also a no-brainer. I know a lot of people were saying Drake May. I was not feeling the Drake May conversation. I was not, bro. No, Drake May was not. I don't think that I'm in love with Drake May enough to where I could put him in the same category as my boy Jaden Daniels. I don't think so. I think that that's just not going to cut it. Cliff Kingsbury is going to have a great time with Jaden Daniels more than he is with Drake May. That's just me, especially with Dan Quinn there in defense. I don't even think you have to even worry about the defensive side of the ball anymore, especially everywhere Dan Quinn goes. Seattle, Atlanta, Dallas. He takes care of business and he gets that defense right to where it needs to be. So that's something that I think Jaden Daniels just really lucked up in a great position because he could have went to the Patriots where, of course, obviously Drake May went. This is where we start to have our first head scratcher of the night. For me, yes, I understand that Drake May was the third best quarterback in this draft through ESPN and some CBS Sports as well. For me, I honestly believe that Bo Nix should have went to the Patriots. I just felt like that was a better fit. I don't think that Drake May can make enough plays for the Patriots right away. I think the Patriots should have definitely traded back, especially with Minnesota. Got 2 first-rounders and probably snagged a couple more pieces. I think the Patriots need help offensively, defense, secondary, definitely secondary, and, of course, offensive line, skill players just all around, except for Rashard Stevenson. That's the only – Ramondre Stevenson, that's the only weapon that they really have offensively that's good. Zappe had a great second half to the season, but it was pretty much in, garbage time when he really was lights out. But I guess getting Drake May could change the course of the Patriots. So I really want to see how that works out. He is a little bit of a boring quarterback. I made a video about it. He's just a boring guy to watch and play with. So, he's going to have a lot of talent around him. Obviously, you saw him in his sophomore year. I think it was with Josh Downs. And, of course, Tez Walker. He was lighting up the NCAA. This year, not so much. Tez Walker wasn't there half of the season. And then, of course, Josh Downs was obviously with the Indianapolis Colts. So we're looking at that, and I'm saying to myself, who there for the Patriots that he can throw the ball to that's going to have a breakout season where we can say, okay, he's going to get over at least 800 to 1,000-yard plus receiving as well, especially in this pass-happy league. So I really want to see that, and everybody in the division, trust me, especially down there in South Florida, the Dolphins are the team looks like in the NFC and the AFC East to beat. So I really wanted to see why and what direction was going on for the Patriots. They're getting my boy Drake May out of North Carolina. All right, at number 4, obviously, another easy one right here. If you knew this draft, you pretty much saw the top 5 to 6 players kind of pan out. Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Arizona Cardinals. They don't have a number 1. They needed a number 1 Why not? Obviously, it's in the bloodline. The daddy was good, so the son was great at Ohio State, even with poor quarterback play last year. But when he was there with CJ Stroud, he was a dog. So, I mean, honestly, guys, say the truth. I don't even think Arizona really wasted that much time. They saw the potential, they saw the need. Let's go grab them right away. And easy dub, easy dub. Why not take it and run with it? Now, this is where we get a little bit more fun for me. Obviously, I knew that the Chargers needed either they needed a skill player or they needed offensive line. I definitely was really leaning more towards skill player. That's what I think, but I forgot that it's Jim Harbaugh running the organization, so he doesn't really care about how good and how fast skill players are. All he cares about is X's and O's, simple in between the tackles, guards. Let's run this dang ball down your throat, and that's what he did. He went and got Joe Alt, and I'm telling you right now, that is the best thing you could do, especially with Slater on the other side, and then having him on that side. I'm looking and I'm saying to myself, dude, this is exceptionally well. This is what you're looking for. This is definitely what you want, especially when you have a younger quarterback like Justin Herbert, who just lost a lot of his offensive weapons, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Everett, and Austin Eckler. So I'm really excited to see what the Chargers do in that second to third round. They don't really have a lot of picks like I thought they did. When I looked at their mock draft, I was like, yeah, no. So I really was expecting them to make that trade, but they didn't. So it is what it is. I'm fine with that. It's cool. I'm not really too dead on it, but I'm just kind of sold more so on what direction will they be willing to take next in that next round. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. Now, next up for the New York Giants, obviously they were all saying that they wanted quarterback. Obviously, Daniel Jones is trash. I think we all know that if we watch football. Saquon Barkley was the offense for the Giants for years, and he just left. So we're really looking down the road and down the line, and we're saying to ourselves, you know what, guys? Forget that. Let's not protect Daniel Jones. Let's go out and let's get an offensive player. Let's go get Malik Neighbors, which is not a bad thing to do. However, the thing is Daniel Jones keeps getting hurt. He cannot throw the ball if he doesn't have time. So that's where I wanted to kind of look at it and say, well, really, the Giants could have done so much more with that pick at number 6. But I also said this too in my drafts and my mocks too as well. If you follow me on my channel, you already know that I said the Giants pretty much predict the next 10 to 15 picks in this draft. Whatever they do, however they draft, is going to be safe for the Raiders, safe for the Broncos, safe for the Vikings. And I said it, however they draft is going to change the trajectory of the next 20 to 15 picks. And they didn't disappoint. They went out and they did exactly what Mel Kiper and all these guys did. They got them hyped up and they went and took a skill player. So now my biggest thing is, especially here for me, what I want to know is, how is Malik Neighbors going to turn this franchise around right away? Being the fact that their quarterback play is still inconsistent, being the fact that their offensive line, oh my gosh, Evan Neal needs help. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking to see it. Of course, we know they're not running the ball anymore. Obviously, Saquon's gone. So we really want to see what happens on the offensive side of the ball. But also at the same time, I'm not against the fact that defensively they did go out and get Brian Burns, which is a great pick. So I do like that there. But this draft is what we're talking about. Malik Neighbors at 6. I like it for where he landed. Yes, as in the pick. Yeah, perfect. But for the team and the fit, not so much really a big fan of that one. I gotta see more. I gotta see what they do in the entire draft. But this is just for round 1 reaction. All right, J.C. Latham, yes, for the Titans. Thumbs up. I hate the Titans. Obviously, you know where I stand. But also at the same time too, they needed to help Will Levis out. The receivers were not there. So obviously they went on ahead and they took what they could. Joe Alt was probably the guy that projected to land to them. He didn't land there. So with that being said, obviously they went on ahead, took care of business, and they landed their guy. You already know, J.C. Latham. To me, which is, he's a really good tackle. I don't think that he's a bad tackle. Obviously, he's not the best. Obviously, Joe Alt was at 6'8", 300 plus. So obviously that's a big dude. He's got great feet. J.C. Latham also has great feet. Outside of everything, if you look at it for real, to be honest with you, only one play really is kind of an asterisk mark on him. It is against Michigan in the playoffs. Other than that, Texas game, those edge rushers didn't exist. A&M game, those edge rushers didn't exist. Georgia, no, I'm sorry, not the Georgia game. Oh, I'm sorry. LSU game, well, shoot, if you watch LSU last year at all, they didn't exist anywhere on defense. But just watching that, dude, I'm telling you right now, JC Latham going to the Titans is a great way for, Will Levis to relax. And then, of course, in the second round, if they want to, go ahead and go get that receiver that they've been looking at. I am all for that. Thumbs up on that. That is a perfect way of looking at it, especially, too, for the Titans. So that's something that's good. Now, here's where we get a little interesting here at pick 8 for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know what, excuse my French, I don't know what the hell Raheem was doing here, because you just paid $100 million to say, hey, Kirk Cousins, we're going to draft this other guy anyways. I don't know what that's about. That money could have been distributed all across. You could have went out and got a better offensive line. You could have went out and got edge rushers like crazy, which I thought you were going to do. You could have went out and got secondary. You could have went out and, man, you could have landed so many things with $100 million. But the fact that you pay Kirk Cousins up front with an Achilles injury and you know that, and then here's the true head scratcher for me, right? It's not the fact that you drafted Michael Penix, right, at 8. I'm okay with that. Here's the bigger problem. You drafted a quarterback with injury history. That's the thing that makes me wonder. He's already 24. He'll be 24 next week. He's got 2 knee injuries already, right? So then you're saying to yourself, you got 2 quarterbacks at any given moment. Those injuries can rekindle the spark and the flame of the greatness of their demise at the same time. It makes me wonder, what was Raheem thinking in this moment? Because honestly, like I said, the way the Falcons just did what they did today, because it cleared the path for the Bears in the next pick, clearly. So I really want to know what was the divine purpose of the Falcons drafting your boy Michael Penix at 8. And like I said, I'll probably do a deep dive on this. I'm going to see what happens tomorrow. Maybe it might be some more things to uncover. They might do a little bit better here and there with some stuff, but I honestly believe that they needed defensive help because their offense is already stacked with Kyle Pitts. Then you got Algier, you got Bijan Robinson, and you've got Drake London. I didn't really see that. Even if they would have drafted a receiver, I would have been cool with that too, adding more arsenal to the fire. So that would have been cool. But seeing them go out and get Michael Penix, a quarterback who has an injury history, you would have been fine getting a Bo Nix. You would have been fine getting, well, not a JayJay McCarthy, but I understand they hyped the hell out of this dude in this draft. Him. Or you could have went out and you could have just got Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, somebody like that right away who could help your defense get right back to where it is. It's been a long time since we've seen the Falcons with a great edge rusher. So I just was really shocked that they grabbed a QB and they paid $100 million for Kirk Cousins, which I don't understand where that, I don't see where that, I really don't. I just don't. Like I said, we got it. Press conference is everything. We're going to see what Raheem talks about when he opens up about this. Now, at pick number 9, the Bears are back on the clock, and they do what they're supposed to do. Now, I was talking about this with on my channel and with my friends amongst this, and I said if the Bears really want to rob the entire free agency and offseason this year, they could go out and get their quarterback and then land another receiver. And what do? They get the 6'3" guy from Washington, Rome Odunze. I call him Polar Bear because the boy is built like a dang bear and can move really, really fast. And now when you look at the grand scheme of things, you've got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Everett, and Clement on the inside, your tight ends. And then on your outside, if you really want to get crazy, like I said, you got Rome Odunze one-on-one. Or you could swap DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, have two receivers on one side, one on the other side. I don't know about you, but the endless possibilities of that offense, the only people that could F up the Bears offense is the coordinator and Caleb Williams. That's it. The offense is already there. Then we haven't even talked about the run game with DeAndre Swift. So what the Bears just did is they just robbed the NFC North right then and there. They just turned themselves around 100%. Now, a lot of people are going to say offensive line. I don't really think their offensive line was bad last year. I think due to the misdirection of what was going on, I think there was a lot of back and forth amongst the coaching staff, what they really wanted to do plus what they implemented. So, even with the whole Justin Fields thing, that saga, they sabotaged themselves. So I think a lot of that stuff is out the door, clear out the path, which makes me say to myself, I'm very excited to see what the Bears do in this instance. So I'm really, really happy about this. I like this a lot. So Rome Odunze goes to Chicago, and I'm not a Bears fan at all. I don't even play with the Bears on Madden unless you pay me. So I don't even have no ties to Chicago with the Bears on this, but I'm very happy to see the Bears do this. Now, at number 10, what initially was the Jets. However, the Vikings traded up one spot, which was very confusing to me, 100%, because especially for what the Vikings might have given up. They didn't say, but they got JJ McCarthy at 10. Here's the thing, if you're a Vikings fan, you needed a quarterback, great, but you needed a mature quarterback. JJ's 21. You're going to probably start Sam Darnold, more than likely. That's what's about to happen. I don't know about you guys, but if Sam Darnold does halfway decent, that number 10 pick looks really bad in the long term. Now, also in retrospect, we can also say if Sam Darnold doesn't look good and we turn around and we have JJ McCarthy, okay, great. Now you're throwing him in the line of fire like Alex Smith was to the 49ers, right? So, and Deshaun Kaiser with the Cleveland Browns, so on and so forth. So many quarterbacks who have been thrown in there and done that, right? So now I look at the Vikings and I say with Addison, Jefferson, Hawkinson, right? I'm saying to myself, you guys let ESPN and CBS Sports, all these other guys have talked you into believing that JJ McCarthy is a true, clean cut, actual quarterback for the NFL right now at that early. I do not, honey, no. This is not a good pick. And trust me, next year I don't mind eating my words, but this was not smart at all for the Vikings. But I will give credit where credit is due. You did need a quarterback, so why not go ahead and grab, a quarterback? Obviously, I think that what you did to move up one spot when you could have just stayed right where you were at, because it didn't matter, because still at the end of the day, you had Bo Nix and you had JJ McCarthy. So to me, you had two quarterbacks to pick from, and both of them have a strong arm. One has a better run game. One actually is a little bit more mature and has played a lot of games. The other one knows how to play with the league. Then on top of that, the coaching staff in Oregon was okay, not amazing. One had a great coaching staff in Michigan. Thus, it was a team sport and a great run game. Let's be realistic here. The Vikings at running back, they got Cam Akers and another guy named Aaron Jones. Shout out to my boy, Aaron Jones. He's a Texas native just like me. But I, once again, I am in that limbo where I'm like, hey, yo, at pick 10? Really, my G? Pick 10, my G? Nah, I ain't feeling that, my G. So I really did not like this at all for the Vikings. I was very skeptical about this. I even said this in their mock draft. Bro, stay away from your boy. It's not worth it. But anyways, you know how people do. You know what they gonna do. So I said, all right, that's cool. Now, we're going to move back to the Jets, who played this exceptionally well. Because at the end of the day, the Jets did the right thing by not taking a QB, even though they got rid of Zach Wilson earlier this week. The Jets did the right thing by saying, you know what? If you guys want it that bad, you can have it, because all we're going to do is just go draft an offensive lineman. Olu Fashanu. And man, let me tell you something. That was the smartest decision I've seen literally so far in this draft, was the fact that, yes, we're going to go ahead. You're going to give us more picks. You're going to swap a spot with us. You're going to give us what we need versus you get what you need in the long run. We're going to have this better offensive tackle who's going to be in the league probably longer than JJ McCarthy is. So, yes, why don't we snag our offensive tackle straight up, who's going to be there before and long after Aaron Rodgers is gone. So now you just protected Aaron Rodgers, right? So that is his blind side. So, and then you got Tyron Smith, who's going to coach this kid up. Dude, if I'm the Jets, what they just did today was really exceptionally well. I like that. I like that falling back to 11. Now, we're going to go to pick 12. Pick 12 was a very funny pick because the Broncos just got Zach Wilson earlier this week. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, well, then why in the hell did you go and get Bo Nix? Even though I know you needed a quarterback, why would you go and get Zach Wilson too on top of that? So now, my biggest issue is with the Broncos is the fact that this is where you could have traded back and got a boatload of picks. You know that the Raiders wanted to move up. I know that's a division rival. Relax. I know it's a division rival. I'm just saying. A lot of these people could have moved back, but they did not. So I was really stuck in a situation, especially with them here, especially for, obviously the Broncos with their offensive weapons, Cortland Sutton, so on and so forth. I just think that Sean Payton does not know what he's doing down there in Denver. I'm just being honest with you. And it truthfully shows that obviously Drew Brees was the reason why things happened there in New Orleans. That's just me. But this pick, Bo Nix is great. He's a great pick. I'm not going to say he's not. He's a good quarterback. I do like him there. I think that he's a good fit. I just think that it's going to come down to coaching staff. Obviously, what do they do in the second, third round? If they have the capital for that, I don't even think they have enough picks. So I really need to see how their draft pans out. But for me right now, I love the pick. I love Bo Nix, but the situation that he's going into, are you ready to see some BS and some non pieces of SHI sugar honey iced tea going on up in Denver, because it's going to be bad business. Bad business. Now, pick 13, the Raiders. Man, dog. Say, Ken Folk. I really don't know what AP got going on, because he got Michael Mayer, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and then he turns around and he drafts Brock Bowers at tight end, which is a really good pick. Here's the problem, though, fam. Who throwing him the ball, dog? Who throwing him the ball? Nobody. No, nobody. Nobody's throwing him the ball. O'Connor? Really? No. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. And that's what the Raiders just did. The Raiders went out and got another skill player, which is great, but for who? Even in FanDuel, you have to look. If you play fantasy football or FanDuel, you have to factor the fact that, hey, I got this guy that could line up at running back, could do could line up at running back, outside receiver, tight end. Okay, cool. But how are they going to utilize him if they don't have a quarterback to take that? Oh man. There are so many directions that the Raiders could have went. They could have traded back, obviously, because all the quarterbacks off the board were gone. They should have traded up. That was something that I was thinking they should have did, but they didn't. So really right now, to be honest with you, I mean, it was an overdraft of quarterbacks, and the Raiders and the Broncos both just played it safe and said, we're fine where we're at. We're going to make it work. Now, I will say this. Because of them drafting Brock Bowers, I think now they're set offensively when it comes to that. I just think now they need to focus on the defensive side of the ball. I would have liked them getting like a Jared Verse, a Dallas Turner, a Latu, a Chop Robinson, something like that, because the quarterbacks weren't there. If they weren't able to get a trade. Getting Brock Bowers is cool, but the knee injury, that's one thing. Then on top of that, throwing in another factor with the fact that you had Michael Mayer already there, another quarterback they could have traded. I ain't gonna lie, I would have traded my 13th pick or for a player or something like that along those lines. Talk to New York. Hey, yo, we'll give you 13, so on and so forth. 13 for whatever we could find out, and boom, you're right there, because the Giants got a receiver. You could have got whoever. I don't know with that, but I really have to see how the Raiders kind of just go with their draft. All right, at 14, we had, of course, the New Orleans Saints, and they go offensive line. I really wanted them to go edge rusher there. That was kind of my thing, to get somebody to replace Cam Jordan or kind of come in and help Cam Jordan right away. I would have liked the Byron Murphy, a Jazon Newton, something like that, inside interior defense as well. Robinson would have, no, not Robinson, sorry. Chop Robinson would have been better there, not Darius Robinson. But yeah, I really would have liked that. But also offensive line is not bad too. I think that the Saints are probably going to try to take one more year under Derek Carr as best as they can. He is aging at 33, 34 years old. So I see what they're doing. Not a bad pick. I give it a B. If we're being honest, to be real with you, because there was so many other things that they could have gone after. And when you start to see how this draft folds, especially at 15, 16, and 17, if you start to look at the way it folded, a lot of things I'm looking at, I could have said to myself, you could have snagged an offensive lineman probably in the second round, maybe, really, to be honest with you, in the third round if you really wanted to be cool about it. But that's just me. That's how I look at it. Now, all right, 15, we got the Colts. Latu, smart pick. I love it. Outside of the neck injury, great story, by the way, coming back, bouncing back, awesome. But outside of that, Latu's great. He's going to definitely help out DeForest Buckner in the end on that D line as well. This is going to be fun because obviously we're in the same division, so he's pretty much an unblockable guy. If you watch him in the Senior Bowl, you watched him at the Combine, He looked really good up close on the combine. His measurements look great, but that Senior Bowl was where he really started to, pan out and look really, really good out there. So I really like that as well. Now, Seattle at 16. I love that. Byron Fat Boy Murphy. He actually from DeSoto, so I'm from the Dallas area in Texas. So it's crazy to see somebody like that. He went to same high school as Von Miller, so that's really cool. But Byron Murphy, big body Byron Murphy, stopped the run, pressure on quarterbacks. I really love where where he landed, especially for Seattle. That is going to be great, especially a good way of looking at it. Because on the outside, they hit on all their draft picks. What Denver gave them, they flipped that and made that work in their favor. It was supposed to be a down year 2 years ago. This year, obviously, it wasn't amazing because obviously Geno Smith and Drew Lock the back and forth with the injuries of the quarterback, which I do believe they will draft the quarterback probably in the later rounds. But yeah, looking at this now in retrospect, well, really, yeah. In hindsight, this is a really good pick. Retrospect wise, I like it even more because they are starting to rebuild the youth in their D line right away. And I wouldn't be surprised if they double dip. So they get another edge rusher or a linebacker or something like that in the second round as well to help on that defensive side of the ball. Because I think offensively, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they probably got maybe about a good year, 2 years left really before they start to kind of have that either decline or they want more money, whatever they can. I understand that. But really, to be honest with you, if you're Seattle, you're sitting really good, especially at 16 with Byron Murphy. I like that. Now, here's the funny part. Vikings trade up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they swap picks. So Jaguars fall to 23. And of course, the Vikings move up to 17. And what the Vikings do is very smart. Obviously, they don't have Hunter no more. So what do? The best defensive player to me in the entire draft is still on the board. On the board, fam. So they go and grab Dallas Turner. I mean, are you serious or is you dumb? Like, they went and got Dallas Turner, which was so smart, bro. Because I'm sitting here saying to myself, Minnesota's willing and dealing. Offensively, they ain't there right now. I don't know what's going on offensively. But they let Delaware Hunter walk out the door, right? And as crazy enough as it is as a Texans fan, we gave them Jonathan Gennard. They broke the bank for Gennard, so he's going to be on one side. Now you got Dallas Turner, who's a young guy on the other side. It's kind of like the mix that we had where we had Will Anderson and we had Jonathan Gennard. Jonathan Gennard is going to do his thing regardless. And I think he's really one of those slept-on edge rushers because he just played in a poor market. I know it's bad talking about my team, but still, he played on a poor market at the time. So it kind of overshadowed the fact that he really was good because this dude had at least about 11, 12 sacks in a year. So, I mean, that's really, really good. So you got a 12 sack, 10 to 12 sack guy on one side, and you've got another guy who's come from Alabama who, of course, obviously we know what Alabama does on the linebacker side, cornerback side. D-line, they kind of hit or miss. Interior, they're more better at than they are on the outside. But still with that, even that regiment, saying that you play ball at Alabama, let's be real, fam. Dallas Turner was the best defensive player in this draft. To fall to 18 in the lap of Jacksonville, who needed, don't even get me started, bro. They needed defensive line help. I understand they have Josh Allen. I understand they got Trayvon Walker. They need help on the D line, bro. But instead of them taking Dallas Turner, they trade back with the Vikings. And the Vikings said, well, if you're not going to do it, we might as well because we took care of our offensive side. Let's go ahead and take care of our defensive side. So they grabbed Dallas Turner, which is smart. Obviously, I believe that you build a defense by building on the inside, then you work your way back to the outside. That's just how I look at it. So this is another part right here where I really love. Now, Amarius Mims goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, which was super smart. They finally protect Joe Burrow. This is awesome. Because, Joe Burrow, I don't even know if he ever been healthy in a season. And the season I think he did was the Super Bowl season. He lit them up, the league up. But they finally protect him. So that, I don't really need to kind of go over this pick because they've been needing the offensive line since 3 years ago? Since they drafted Joe Burrow. So they don't protect them. So finally they go out and get some protection. I know that they got old boy 2 Brown also in the offseason. So that's even better to have two guys on that side, the trees, what I like to call them, on the tackles. So that's really good. So T. Higgins, you might want to relax a little bit because you might get more targets and Tyler Boyd and of course my boy Jamar Chase. So you guys might just want to sit put for a little while and enjoy this. I like this pick for the Bengals. Believe it or not, I actually think that that might be one of the better picks in this entire draft so far. Now, pick 19, and I think that that's going to help the Bengals out a lot, especially in that division. Obviously, I think defensively, the Steelers are the most defensive team, especially having Queen switch from one side to the other with Baltimore going to Pittsburgh. So I do think that the Steelers are what they have to look out for, and the Browns were the best defense, obviously. So clearly, T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, Queen, stuff like that. You finally get somebody that can kind of offset that on the offensive line. So that's something that was very smart about them as the Bengals. They were looking at the long run just in the divisional play. So that's smart. Pick 19, the Rams. Finally, I'll have a first round pick. I am very excited. The first time you've had a first round pick since 2016. So I am very excited about that. I'm very happy that Sean McVay did not do anything weird or no circus act. So that's good for y'all. And you do what you're supposed to do. You go on your D line and you get Jared Verse. So Jared Verse and Byron Young, I think is going to be a great 1-2 punch, especially in that division. I do think that you'll still have a problem with San Fran. I mean, who isn't going to have a problem with San Fran? But as of right now, Arizona did not really improve their offensive line, so you should be slapping them around. And then on top of that, Seattle kind of didn't really improve their offensive line. So you kind of be slapping them around. Other than that, like I said, I think that really the big thing is the fact that you guys got to the playoffs with the roster that you had. I know that Aaron Donald is gone. That is a huge, huge space that you have to fill. I know that you're going to be probably looking for that in the second round, especially with Sweatney still on the board, Newton still on the board, Frisk still on the board. There's a lot of big body guys still on the board in the second round. So I would really like to see what the Rams do there, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm very excited about that, but obviously, first things first, you seal the other side of your defensive edge. So having Verse and then of course having my boy Byron Young on the other side, I think that's going to be a great 1-2 punch. You just got to now stop and get somebody to stop the run in the middle, get a big plug like that. So that's good. All right, at pick 20, Troy Fautanu. I really like this for the Steelers. I think this is a good fit, especially for whoever takes place at quarterback. Now, Steeler fan, I know you guys gave me the most flack, especially with the AFC video. You guys went in on me. You're like, oh, you must be a Ravens fan. I just said I think the Ravens did a good job in free agency. You guys got two quarterbacks. I just don't really understand what the situation is going on there. But I do think that this was a great pick. I will give credit where credit is due, Steeler fans. You guys deserve this. This was a great pick right here. Obviously, you've been needing offensive line help. Why not protect whoever's going to be throwing the ball for you guys this year? And whoever's going to be running the ball, because I do like Najee Harris and I love me some Jalen Warren. Those two guys, great and good to go. If you're liking the video, by the way, I don't have a sponsorship yet. So I was going to say something like, hey, if you tried, what is it, T. Henley or Manscaped or Better Health or something with the therapy thing, whatever. How about you just get a shirt, Square Kids? How about that? In your face. All right, I guess that was somewhat of an ad. I wanted to take a break in the action. But yeah, no, seriously, if you're liking the video, man, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, tell me what you guys think. Down for whatever. I will be doing round 2 tomorrow too as well when I get off work. But hey, matter of fact, let's go ahead and dive into this next part. With that being said, at pick 21, the Miami Dolphins take Chop Robinson. It was nice, but they really needed offensive line. I really wanted them to get offensive line here. I mean, you had at the time, you still had Jordan. You still had Jordan Morgan. You still had Graham Barton. You still had Tyler as well, Tyler Guyton as well. You had quite a bit of offensive linemen that could help out with Tua. Obviously, you guys remember what happened to Tua. He's still throwing up gang signs to this day. But that was a bad joke. Don't laugh at that. But the thing is, though, guys, like really with the offensive line would have really helped out here with the Dolphins. I like that a lot. Getting Chop is not going to solve your issues with, of course, the fact that Christian Wilkins has dipped and went to the Raiders. That is something that we're going to have to really dive in and look into a little bit more if you're the Dolphins. But I do like Chop Robinson landing to the Dolphins. I don't think that it was a bad pick. I just think that you needed a bigger need at the time, and you still had stuff that was there. So, like I said, not ideally what I was looking for, but still it was a need. And I think that this offensive tackle and line draft should be deep enough for you guys to recoup in the second and third if y'all want to go that way. But you know how it is. Mike McDaniels is a little bit different than most people, so we'll just see how it all plays out. All right, at pick 22, which is probably one of the better picks in this draft, drafting Quinton Mitchell out of Toledo for the Philadelphia Eagles because you guys needed help in that secondary so damn bad. So I think it was what 35 touchdowns y'all gave up passing the entire year. Yeah, y'all was trash, bro. Y'all was trash back there, all like horrible, horrible. So I like this pick a lot. I give you guys an A+ for that because you went and got what you needed, especially how the draft was falling for you guys. You probably got one of the best corners in this draft, just because of the simple fact that, like I said, people were getting players that they were out of position on, like of course with the Raiders, then a turnaround with the Giants, then turn around with the Falcons. And then, of course, obviously the Vikings getting JayJay McCarthy super early. Then, the Saints grabbing Tusfanagu out of Oregon State. Dude, the Eagles really lucked up throughout this draft in getting Mitchell because I'm not going to lie. I was sitting there listening to the board, especially when I was at work, and I was like, yo, that one corner from Toledo is still on the board. And then the Eagles had, came across the ticker, and I was like, they about to go take him. Why would they not take him? Because they need help secondary wise. Like, why would they not go snag this guy? And then I thought about it. I was like, well, the Chiefs need him. The Niners need one. Who else was on the board at the time? The Cowboys need one as well. So I was like, well, if he gets past the Philadelphia Eagles, it is a free for all when it comes to corners, and that's when you should. I think the board would have been shooken up completely if that happened. And of course, obviously, Philly was like, no, we're not finna let that happen, bro. We finna grab this corner, best corner in the draft. Let's make that happen. So I think that was a good pick for them. I gave them an A+ for that. All right, 23, Jacksonville's on the clock. This is where they had made the trade, obviously, with the Vikings, and they went and got Brian Thomas Jr., which is not a bad pick, actually, believe it or not. I do think that they still need edge rusher, but now adding Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk over there, so they've got some weapons, man. They let Ridley walk, which is okay, I guess. But they've got some weapons over there, so I really want to see what they do. I really want to see what they do. You know what I mean? I want to see how they play this out. Pick 24, obviously the Lions, they traded up here and they got cornerback, which is another one. They got the cornerback Arnold out of Alabama, which was smart. I like this one a lot too. I'm very big fan of this one here. Especially Eagles and Lions did a great job getting what they needed in this first round. They traded back with the Cowboys, by the way, too, the Lions. So they fell back. And we'll talk about what the Cowboys got here shortly. But I do like what the Lions did. Now, at pick 25, obviously, Jordan. And then at pick 26, we got Graham. Two really exceptional picks, Packers and, of course, Bucks. Packers at 25, Bucks at 26. I like both of those picks right there because it's what's much needed. Obviously, one for Jordan. He's going to help protect Jordan Love, obviously. So that tackle position, that's going to be great. Graham Barton, on the other hand, all-around offensive lineman. So whatever direction the Bucks decide to put him at, he will excel at because he's done it. So I really like what they did there at 26. They just got pretty much an offensive lineman. So however they want to look at it, however they want to do it, that's going to make it work for them. Now, at 27, the hometown kid, Robinson, he got drafted, obviously. So I like this pick. I like the edge rusher here at 27. I do like him a lot there. I like that a lot. I am a fan of it. I think that he was misused at Missouri, which I'm kind of glad they overlooked the tape because I honestly, if you really watch this guy play, no, I'm sorry, not overlook the tape. They overlooked the fact that he was at a bad team, and yeah, because his tape don't lie. His tape was really, really good, especially Senior Bowl, especially the draft. The combine. It was just really, really one of those things where I was like, this player, if he would have got the right exposure, he probably would have been in the top 15, the top 20. But the fact that he still got in the first round, he's still going to get that bank, I'm not too mad about it. So I think he got his justice with due. Now, Kansas City trades up, and they get Xavier Worthy, 5'11 guy, obviously the fast dude from Texas. We still don't know what's up the situation with Rasheed Rice. I understand that. Sky Moore, whatever. Travis Kelsey, okay. He's that dude. He's that dog. So obviously he's gonna be like the Tyreek Hill replacement, over the top, speed, fast guy. I don't really like. I'm not really a big fan of Xavier Worthy just because he's fast. And it kind of one of those things about receivers who are extremely fast. Whoa, I'm sorry, wait. Let's say this. Receivers that are fast, and then there's receivers that are in a different class of speed. Jalen Waddle is fast. Tyreek Hill is in a different class of speed. Two different type of receivers, right? Different ways you set the offense up. Same thing with John Ross, how he was, and then you got AJ Brown, right? And a lot of people they don't really understand that just because it's speed, and I know you got Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes makes everybody look good, and that's so great. However, the detriment is that Pat Mahomes is so good, you can't just keep giving him mediocre receivers, especially with Troy Franklin still on the board, Xavier Leggett still on the board. Then shoot, to me, to be honest with you, Adnan Mitchell, who is a better receiver than Xavier Worthy, still on the board. You could say Braden Rice. We can go down the list of receivers that were way better, but a 5'11", super fast, we ran a 4.2. Obviously, that's going to get you hyped up, especially in the NFL. They love chasing after these fast receivers, and then they get lifted like a Chevy on suspensions when they get popped. It just to me, it's one of those things where I would like the fact that you got to look at more than that. And I know Andy Reid is there. He's going to probably get him right, X's and O's. I just don't like the fact that you guys got him there. I think really, well, I mean, they won Super Bowl twice back to back. So really, I ain't even going to talk bad about the pick because to be honest with you, I don't really see anybody competing with the Chiefs in the AFC. Even as a Texans fan, even with all the adjustments that we made, they still got Pat Mahomes, bro. Like, he can make it happen. So I'm not really going to go too in on this pick. I don't like it personally, but Andy Reid has got that thing where it's like Andy Reid, John Lynch, GMs like that, I really never really question because they kind of know what the hell they're doing. So I'll kind of I'll leave it alone. But mark my words. If it messes up, I will be back. However, so we're gonna dive on some more. With that being said, at pick 29, the Cowboys they went on ahead and they got Tyler Guyton, which is great. Obviously, they need to replace the offensive line. I think the Cowboys have many needs: offensive line, corner, running back, receiver. I think that they need to address all of that in the draft. And trading back, I'm pretty sure they got more capital to help out with that. So I really do like that. Now, pick 30. This is where you have, oh man, this is really, really great. The Ravens are at pick 30. And for me, I was really hoping that they land either a receiver here. That's what I kind of want. I want a receiver or offensive line. That's what I think they needed. They went on the opposite side of the ball and they got a corner, which at first I was like, nah, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? In that division, let's look at it, right? In that division, you got Pickens, you got Cooper, then this is where it really hurts. Boyd, Higgins, Chase. You got 5 receivers that have the potential to probably be Pro Bowlers, but then again, in the NFL, Pro Bowl doesn't really matter because it's just kind of a popularity contest. I'd say great route runners and exceptional receivers who can go above and beyond in the NFL, who are in that class of the top 20, 25 receivers you could say in the NFL, right? So I would say 5 of them out of the top 25 are in that one little division. You're going to need a lot of corner play. I think that John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh knows what he's doing when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. So I was okay with that pick. I don't like it. I'm not in love with it. Don't get it twisted. I honestly still think they should have went receiver because now Lamar Jackson's just going to be throwing the ball instead of, taking off running with Derrick Henry back there. They've got Zay Flowers. Obviously, I don't think they're going to keep Odell Beckham. I don't think they did keep Odell Beckham. So why not go and get another receiver? You had Troy Franklin, Xavier Leggett, Braden Rice, so on and so forth. So that's just me. Lab McConkey's still there. So you got so many guys that are still in the mix at receiver. I don't know where that kind of fell at, but I understand that Nate Wiggins is an exceptional corner who they had him in the top 15. He falls to the 30, which is still good, but, I don't really understand it. But, I have to respect, the defensive culture that they have in Baltimore. That's what they do. Plus, they put my team out. So, really, Like, and they suffocated us on defense. So I really can't talk too much about it. They know what they're doing. All right, pick 31. Ricky Pearsall goes to the 49ers. This was no, I didn't really like this one at all. I think the 49ers, if anything, they should have went offensive line or corner. I really think that, especially with Cooper DeJean on the board, offensive line wise, they could have grabbed well, exceptionally well. Graham, Jordan, Guyton, they're all off the board. Facade, Latham, Mims. They could have got Johnson out of Oregon. You know, Powers Johnson. I'm sorry, Powers Jackson Johnson. Whatever, how you say his name. The boy from Oregon, the guy from Oregon. They could have grabbed him. I just think that Trent Williams. I love Trent Williams, another Texas native, Longview. He's just older, you know, and it's about that time you got to start looking for his replacement. So, you know, I do like that, and I know the whole Brandon Ayuk situation, and I know the whole Debo Samuel situation. I love that, but let's be real, guys. Let's be honest. If I'm John Lynch, I'm not letting both of those receivers walk out the door unless I know I'm getting a boatload of picks or I'm getting exceptional players just like them coming back. So Ricky Pearsall is cool, is nice, not no first round pick, fam. I mean, he wasn't even explosive like that at Florida, right? Like if we're being honest, he was okay. He wasn't amazing. He was okay at Florida. I think that people fell in love with his route running. I think the combine boosted him up. I think that the Senior Bowl even helped him out a lot, which is great, which is cool. I love it. I'm not against it, but dude, I'm not gonna lie to you though, my G. Ricky Pearsall was not the ideal receiver that I was looking for if you're gonna grab one. Like I said, you still had Troy Franklin and Xavier Leggett on the board, Edna Mitchell, Lad McConkey. These other receivers who really have proven to be a clean-cut number one in their own division of the college football world. Ricky Pearsall was not that guy at Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like the offense really didn't run through him. You know what I'm saying? So once again, it is what it is. It's a need. I ain't gonna lie. It's a need for the Niners. Just not a need that I was seeing them get right now. Now I do see this. If the Niners decide to double dip at receiver, then now we have what we call what you call it? We got a little bit of a good mix here. So that's something I want to see. Now, last pick, last but not least, obviously the Buffalo Bills did not have a pick in this first round, so they'll be picking number 33 tomorrow in the second round at 7:30. But Xavier Leggett to the Carolina Panthers. The boy stays in Carolina. And this is where we're going to pretty much wrap it up. This is a great pick, but entirely too early. And I didn't even see the need why they traded up to get him because I think just for one spot, I don't really see the need for that. Because there's still a lot of things that the Panthers were going to do. And I was very afraid that they were going to do this. For the simple fact of the matter is that they went out and they drafted a skill player when Bryce Young had no protection, terrible run game. So I mean, I really thought that they were going to go out and get offensive line back to back in the second round. That would have been perfect. But just them getting another skill player, they're trying to put this guy in the same category as Joe Burrow. When I see this, and I'm like, no, he's not there yet, fam. Like, you got to remember, because of you guys, the Bears were put in the best position possible. So I want to talk about, even though they did beat the Texans, the only win they did was against us, which is stupid. But it happened. You know what happened. But that's nor here and definitely not nor there. They traded up one spot just to get Xavier Leggett, which I'm going to call him Weapon X, because Xavier Leggett is a great player. I think that he will be exceptionally well in the league for the next 4 to 5 years at receiver. I do see that. I just feel like, Bryce Young's going to need some time to throw the ball to him. And the way these offensive linemen are kind of just still on the board, I have to kind of say to myself, I really would have went O-line. I probably would have grabbed at least one offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Not really grabbing a receiver, a skill player first. That's just me. But I do like the pick once again. I ain't gonna lie, outside of pick 10, pick 8, 6, No, no, I like 6 actually. I like so when I say this, I say outside of the Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons, and 6 was the Giants. I actually think that Malik Neighbors is good fit. I just think it's just too damn dysfunctional. The Giants are too damn dysfunctional. Um, Pick 14, I do like the pick. I just think that, obviously there was other needs for the Saints. Pick 12, I just think this is what happens when you wait to the last minute, especially pick 12 is for the Broncos. When you wait to the last minute, when you make no moves in the offseason, what the hell do you expect? You have to go and get a quarterback. By submission, they basically let a quarterback fall to them. Pick 13, Brock Bowers, because you made no moves. Now you have an amazing set of skill players but no one to distribute the ball to him. So it's just like basically watching the Las Vegas Raiders of the Atlanta Falcons in 2023. You got a Desmond Ridder type quarterback who's going to probably blow the game for you every single weekend, and it's going to suck, and it's not going to be fun to watch. That's just me on that one. Picks that I loved: 17 with, of course, Dallas Turner. I loved 18. I think that was the best pick of the night. The Bengals grabbing Amarius Mims. I love 19. This run from 15 to 20, I loved. That would be Colts grabbing Latu, Seahawks grabbing Byron Murphy, Vikings grabbing Dallas Turner, um, Bengals grabbing Amarius Mims, Los Angeles Rams grabbing Jared Verse, Steelers grabbing Troy Fatanu. I really liked all those picks. I loved the Eagles grabbing Mitchell. I love that. I loved Arnold going to the Lions, especially the Lions trading up, maybe being aggressive and grabbing that. I love that a lot. That was really, really good. I like the Cowboys how they traded back and they still got what they needed to take care of, especially with Tyler. So I really like that one a lot too. Um, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Of course, the top five, I kind of seen that coming. I should have won some money on FanDuel. But really, like I said, the most interesting one of the night definitely has to go to Atlanta. I don't know what the hell they're doing down there. That was a very scary one. With that being said, guys, hey man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. We out. Peace. It's my first live, so I don't even know how to end this. How do you end the live? Stop. No. Nope. No. I could have had a filter the whole time. How do you end the live?